Hi, I'm Maggie.
Hi, I'm Grace, and this is
A Very Bookish Podcast.
Hey guys, welcome back to A Very Bookish Podcast. This is episode 24, and we have a very special guest with us. We have Pauline. Hi, Pauline.
Hi guys. Thanks for having me on.
Yes, Grace was the one. So the fun fact is Grace finds every guest and she goes onto their live streams and hounds them and is like, "Will you be on our podcast? Will you be on our podcast?" Or she's like in the DM, she's like, "Will you be on our podcast? Will you be on our podcast?" And then she's like, "Okay, they agreed to be on the podcast. Maggie, now you email them." And I'm like, "Oh, whoa." And she's like, "They agreed to it. They agreed." And I'm like,
That's so funny.
You gotta strike while the kettle's hot, or whatever the saying is, right?
I feel like that's how it goes, but I'm also not. It doesn't sound right. I'm not sure.
I don't know. Strike some.
You gotta strike
like
while the.
That's like two sayings in one.
Yeah, you're literally mixing calling the kettle black and then like
Yeah.
I don't care.
Like
whatever. You guys know what I meant, though.
that's funny though, because I think the first time that I heard about like even going on was through Maggie's email. Like I don't think that Grace had ever gone on any of my lives.
Oh,
And,
really?
and went like, "Oh, come be on the podcast." Like it was out of nowhere. That's why I was like, that'll be fun. Like I'm excited because it was just from Maggie. But like me and Grace have been talking for quite a few months already.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Because I started following you on Bookstagram. I had already followed you on TikTok.
Yeah.
Then I started following you on Instagram and like started interacting more with your stories. Like I feel like yours is one of the stories that I'll always like swipe up and reply to, or
Aww,
girl,
that is so sweet.
and
Stop.
so, like your vibe was just like, dude, like I feel like she would be so fun. And then like the way that we would start talking and messaging each other, I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, she would be so cool. And then like literally when I started like feeling that as we were messaging, Maggie ended up was just like, dude, we should have Pauline on. And I'm just like, dude, yes. And then yes.
Was it me who asked?
You asked me, but in my head, I was already thinking about telling you.
No, because I'm pretty sure you asked me, and I was like, wait, we should. And then I was like, wait, I've been following her for a while now, because I followed her on Book Talk.
Really?
You guys are like all over.
We really are
crazy together.
It's not even like to the point where it's just like we're like every time we decide to have a guest on, it's already like we were both thinking about it.
Yeah.
And it was just like, it's like obvious, like why wouldn't we have her on?
Yeah.
So what the point is, Maggie
Bestie vibes.
And now we're here.
Yeah.
Now we're here.
It was funny because like I always say this, like whenever I email somebody, I'm like, they're not gonna say yes. They're not gonna say yes. And then it's like, of course. And I'm like,
why wouldn't they say yes? You guys are a fun time.
I don't know.
Don't sell yourself short, Maggie.
We're crazy.
Yeah. If you like go back to some of our episodes, it gets really crazy sometimes where we're just like, what?
We're
that's exactly though like how I feel like you would be like in person, like which is like the perfect vibe. Like you don't want to be around somebody, who's just kind of like to themselves and not doing anything, and like because then like everything just kind of plateaus,
Yeah, that's true.
You want to be around crazy people. That's when you laugh the most.
I definitely am chaotic.
Oh yeah.
Fun time.
My roommate just left.
Fun time.
Yeah,
it's always fun times with her. So to kind of start this off, you have pretty big platforms on both Bookstagram and Book Talk. So what kind of started you first?
I started my Bookstagram account, I think like sometime, like I created it 2019, I think, but I didn't start posting on it until like mid 2020, I think, like maybe like April or May. And even then, like I wasn't like taking it seriously, because like I started it and I was literally just like, yeah, that was kind of like when I was still like heavy into like Sarah Descent books, and like that's mostly like before I accumulated all of these books. Like I started with one shelf, probably had like 4 of them filled out, and like, they were mostly like Harry Potter books, and then I had like Sarah Destin, I had Aragon and stuff. So I started my Bookstagram thinking just like, oh yeah, I'll just post like, a quick picture. And I have no photography skills at all. Like I do not know how to make any kind of like photos like aesthetically pleasing like that. You know how people set them up and like everything is gorgeous. There's like acorns and like little berries on the side. I don't know how to do that because like I just feel like that stresses me out. Like the setup, the creative setup, that not for me. So I started like posting just like random books, and then like I kind of just like stopped. And then I started my book talk account I think like July-ish, and that was like around the time where I was reading the selection. I read Akatar. Like this was all off camera, like before I even started posting about anything. And I was reading like Vampire Academy and Bloodline and stuff. And then I started my book talk account, and I think like one of the first videos that I posted about was like Mist and Fury, right? And then like after that, like you just kind of like, I don't know, like you just kind of grow into the community and you learn more about books. And that was like when Cool Prince was all of the hype, and like Caraval was there, and obviously Akatar was there. And then, like Crescent City came out and everybody was talking about Crescent City. And like you just like I just kept posting and posting and posting. And then next thing I know, like, here I am. And it's kind of like a weird transition from July to now, because like I mean nobody in my family knows like about about any of my accounts. Like there's probably like my boyfriend knows. My cousin found me like a couple of months ago, and then I had another cousin find me like a week ago, which is crazy because I've been posting a lot about like SMUTT lately, so it's very awkward. I haven't seen them in person yet, so I can't really. I feel like I would just die on the spot. But I started book talk, and then I didn't start taking my Instagram account seriously until I think like maybe December, January, and then it's been a fun time. Here we are.
Looking at your Instagram, you only have 84 posts. You have 39.6K, and your first post was in July 14th, 2020. So
yeah,
definitely have grown exponentially.
No,
sorry to bring all those weird facts. I'm literally talking you the entire
okay.
So whenever anybody like sees me looking down, I'm always looking at my phone, looking at like profiles and stuff, and I'm like, okay, what can I say? But the fact that you've grown exponentially, do you think it was because of book talk is why you're definitely your book talk, and then you also
absolutely I don't think I would have the Instagram platform I have if it wasn't for book talk. Like because like I had viral videos around like November, December area, and videos that I had that went viral on TikTok, I posted as an Instagram reel, and those ended up doing really well. And that's I think where a large portion of that 39.6 thousand came from, because like I think I was at like 7,000 in like January or February before I did that 30K post giveaway on my Instagram. And I posted like a book for every type of love, I think it was like part 6, and that ended up garnering like 2.4 million views on my Instagram. And I think it's because I think it was Red Queen in there that I like did so well on my TikTok, and I didn't assume that it was going to go so well on Instagram. But it's the same video, and I think it's because of Red Queen, because like it's such a divisive, like everybody either hates it or loves it kind of thing. And when I posted that, that's literally where like the jump happened for me. Like, and it's crazy because they're all from Instagram reels. Like I don't even think that they come from the post itself. Like Instagram reels that all come from TikTok, and it's insane.
Yeah,
because a lot of people live in countries where they don't have TikTok, so they rely on Instagram to see the reels from TikTok.
Okay, that was gonna be my like next question. Like, how did you move from like the platform of book talk and stuff to Instagram? But you're saying like the reels is what really helped skyrocket your account. That's because I was like, I was wondering like, should I start reposting my like videos that have gone viral on my TikTok recently, because like in the last 2 months a lot of them have gone very big, and I'm like, should I just start reposting them? Because there's a time where I was gone for a full week off of TikTok, like fully signed out, everything, and I was like, maybe I should just start posting my TikTok onto my Bookstagram so that I'm not just posting just photos, to help grow a little bit more. So that's something
it'll definitely help
to do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
your that series, I think is when I like when you first started that series. I think that's when I started following you.
Yeah.
That like books for every type of love.
Hmm.
And then like your tattoo. I would like every time I would see it, I was just like, oh my gosh, like that's it's because your
My
tattoo,
night court insignia on my wrist.
oh my gosh. Your book tattoos are just like, damn, I want to do one so bad. Let me
Do
do
it.
one. Let me find a quote that I cannot like wrecks my soul.
Live
It's probably
without.
gonna be from the Blood and Ash series, like no lie.
Yeah.
It's probably gonna be from one of those. It might be Castiel's favorite line, but I don't know because like I'm kind of squeamish with tattoos because I change my mind a lot.
Yeah.
I am constantly shifting and like updating my vibe and like
Yeah.
doing things
It's
like
too permanent for you.
yeah, because like
Yeah.
2 years ago I really wanted trees because like trees really meant something to me and like
Hmm.
rooting them and like the roots and everything really meant something and I'm like this is me. But
Yeah.
then I was just like let me see how I feel about it in a year and a year later
You're
trees are
like,
not
absolutely not. Like, thank
yeah
God I didn't do it.
yeah I'm not into it yet we'll
Yeah.
see. Let's see
Yeah.
how long this one is.
See, I have a tattoo, so I'm definitely like I've been planning my tattoos for like a long time now. And yeah,
Yeah.
I'm always moving for like what I'm gonna do, but like I see tattoos as like, oh, this is a memory of like past and like, oh, this is like a part of my life and this is something that I'll always remember as a part of my life. And
Yeah.
so I definitely did you just hear the toilet flush? Okay, good, because the toilet just flushed right as I was talking. But
No, I'm laughing because I'm remembering what your tattoo is.
so
Why? What's your tattoo?
my tattoo is a lip tattoo. So
Ouch. Oh
I
my
have
God,
a
did
lip
that hurt? What
tattoo.
does that say?
It says G413. It is my freshman dorm hall room number. So Gallagher 413 was my room number, and my home. I got it. I got onto Barstool sports for my school. I like
Yeah.
it has been a pride and joy of my life is to have a tattoo. And like it's gonna be gone in a couple years, but like it's just something to live by where like it was a night where we were like went to like go get ice cream. We were walking around downtown and I was like, I should get a tattoo. And they were like, yes. And I was like, what should I get it of? I was like, I'm gonna get a lip tattoo of my room number, G413. And they were just all like,
Okay.
why?
Why? They're like, but Maggie, why?
No, they said yes.
Why your
We
room
literally,
number?
me and 5 other people walked into the tattoo parlor together, and they were all just waiting in the lobby while I got my tattoo. And as I was walking in, I was like, should I really get it? And the like tattoo guy was like, definitely, hell yes. And I was like, okay. I like,
That's
Dude.
that's the encouragement that you needed. Just someone to tell you do it.
oh, full
That's what
send.
you needed? Oh my
You just
gosh.
needed to justify it. You're
Like,
like,
I
yeah,
think I
I
should
should
get
do
a
it, right?
tattoo
I
that just
totally
says full
should.
send, because that's just literally what I will say is full send and
Oh god.
commit to love.
That's
Why your lip of all things? Why your lip?
I could hide it from my
Didn't that
parents.
hurt?
No,
Oh,
it did not hurt at all.
nice.
The guy was really
Nice.
good. Like I like just had to like hold my lip down. It was like 5 minutes maybe. Um,
Wow.
I
yeah,
can't imagine having a guy
he was
tattoo
really hot too. So
in
it
my
was really
mouth
hard.
though. Yeah, and that's the thing because I remember you telling the story and you talking about how hot the tattoo artist was, and I was just like, hell no, I can't have him that close to my mouth while I'm
And then you're like,
drunk
you're
and like barely like paying attention and like
Oh, I
no,
was completely sober.
like what?
oh my God.
Oh my god,
You think I
hell
was
She's
no.
like, this
drunk?
is like a
No,
Monday for me.
no, I was sober.
Could never be. See, and that's the difference between the two of us. I need to know for a fact that this is what I want on me, and her, she's just like, I'm gonna get a tattoo.
She's like, yeah, she wakes up and she's like, I think I'm gonna go down the street. I'm gonna get ice cream and then I'm gonna get a tattoo.
I'm gonna get a tattoo.
She's like, this is my Friday night.
Yeah.
Oh my
What
gosh.
else am I gonna do?
Me, I'm like, do I want it looking like this? No, it needs to look like this. You know what? It's not gonna be that anymore. What about this?
Yeah.
Nope. I'm very about that because I
It's
know it's
Yeah.
gonna be
Yeah. Yeah.
it's funny
No,
because
I
like literally.
definitely,
Oh,
no, go ahead.
I was literally gonna say like Thursday night we were walking and with my roommate and us and our friends we went out to dinner and we were walking around waiting for our like seat and then I was like I wonder if there's a tattoo parlor anywhere. my
And
friend
that's where it
just
all went
looks at me
downhill.
and keeps walking. She's like, no, we are not dealing with this tonight.
That is so
It's
funny. No,
already
I have
late.
tattoos that I regret. Like I have tattoos on my back that I feel like are like I have a lot of birds on me. I have birds right here, and then I have birds right here. And I remember when I got them done, like because I got this one first. And so when I got this piece done, the tattoo artist was like, I went to the restroom and he was talking to my boyfriend, and he goes, "Your girlfriend really likes birds, huh? Like she's like a tree." Like, and he tells me that like when I get back, like he texts it to me. He's like, "Oh, the tattoo artist said that you're like a tree because you have all these birds on you." And I was like, I looked at the stencil that he did, and I was like, "Yeah, why not?" But I mean, like this piece itself is pretty large, and I would honestly laser it off if I could, or I would cover it up. But it's a pretty large piece that would just like tattoo my entire like back of my shoulder, and I don't think that I would want that, but I would definitely remove it if I could. I'd probably also remove the one on this side, but
How many do
yeah,
you have?
I'm pretty impulsive. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have 10, but I would definitely get rid of the ones on my back. And then I wanted to do a constellation, either going down the outside or the inside of my arm, like right by my serpent. But I'm really impulsive. Like once I decide on something, you cannot talk me out of it. Like I always tell my boyfriend, you know, like, and he likes to say like, you ask questions that you already know the answer to, right? Because I'll ask him like, should I get it? Should I not? But he knows in my head that like I've already like decided on
Yeah.
getting it, and that nothing he says, like whether or not he's like, no, don't get it. Like it's not, you know, you're not gonna like it in a few years. In my head, I'm already like, nah, I am gonna like it. I'm gonna
Yeah.
make myself like it in a
Yeah.
few years. And that's what I did about this one, and now I hate it. I should have listened to him, but you know,
You're
once you do it, you gotta go straight through. Like you can't back out.
I think one of my favorite ones that you got was your Addie LaRue tattoo, because it's like from
I
a
love Addie
foil design on a book edition, right?
from Alcrate. Yeah, I DM'd the artist who created it, and I said, "Hi, could you please send me like your actual digital copy of it? I'd like to get it tattooed on me." And she was like, "Oh my god, like that's so amazing! Like I'm so honored." And I was like, I was just gonna give like a random picture and have them like, you know, stencil that out, but I was like, dang, like it's gonna get distorted. Like it's probably gonna end up longer than like it's supposed to be. And I was like, yeah, but she was so happy, and I was like, yep. And she ended up following me because of that.
Oh, that's cool though.
Wait, which artist was it?
Yeah. Paperback Bones, I think, is
Okay.
the username.
Yeah.
Paperback Bones.
A bunch
You
of
know
books
what?
that I want.
I might probably do that. I'm probably gonna do that. I'm probably gonna get one of the graphic designers from like that a bookish company hired to design my
and
tattoo.
ask them to send you the image.
Oh yeah. Oh,
You know what?
You know what?
Grace, I'm not gonna believe it until I see it.
I know, right? It's not gonna happen, but the idea is there. I'm probably gonna get them one of the ones that did the From Blood and Ash special editions
For Bookish Box.
Yeah, with a couple of differences, because I am a graphic designer myself.
Yeah.
So I would probably like tweak it a little bit to be.
Yeah, I saw when I first started following you, I saw that you were doing people's like profile pictures, the drawings of them, like the animated drawings of them.
Oh yeah, that was a time.
That
What
was so long ago.
Yeah, that was like way back, like towards like the end of 2020, I think, like, or even like
It was
September
like September.
era.
It was August, September when like we really started becoming friends. Is during that time, because like you made me mine, and then I bought a sticker of it too, and it's on my computer. It's a sticker of my profile picture that I had when I had blue hair and stuff.
Her hair was actually
so
my favorite
cool
one to do, because her hair just looks so cool. And usually when I did those, like it's pretty basic. Like I like 2D designs, so it's like almost anime-ish, where it's like the outline and like shadows and that's it. Like I didn't really care about facing it. Mostly because I could not draw eyes yet. Eyes were like my weakness. Like a lot of artists, the weakness is the hands, because hands are so unique and they're very hard to draw.
They're always like the little pointy ones.
Oh yeah. Oh
like little
yeah.
chickens.
And for me, it was eyes. So eyes were like, I was just like, you know what? But it looks cool without them. And so I started doing them. But then with hers, her hair was just like so dope that I was just like, I gotta
Yeah.
add something extra for the hair. And usually on every person's that I did, something had to be different on it.
Hmm.
Like the bookworm girl, I don't know if that's still her username on TikTok. She does a lot of Katniss Everdeen Hunger Games stuff.
Yeah.
Um, she like hers, she has like a picture that someone took of her sitting down reading the Harry Potter series.
Hmm.
And so for her, she was wearing like these distressed jeans, and like I did like all the detailing on her jeans and stuff. So everybody
Nice.
had something different, but I was overwhelmed with so many requests at one
Yeah.
point.
I saw that you, like, I remember you posting, like, saying like, oh, you needed to slow down because you were getting too many at once. And then I think like for a little bit of time, like you just stopped doing it.
I was like, yeah, that's it. I'm sorry. And
Well, nobody was paying her. Nobody was paying.
Yeah, they were all just kind of like requests.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was
you should have
fine with
charged.
it at first, but it was taking a majority of my time, and like I wasn't able to design anything else. And I was also running a sticker shop at the time, and I had to
Yeah.
stop my sticker shop basically completely because I was
Hmm.
doing this. And then I basically had no time to do anything else besides this. There were people who still were waiting on one, and I
Yeah.
was like, sorry, dude.
Sorry, like you can't do it.
I mean, if
Exactly.
they paid you, that's why like you asked, like I like
You would
paid
have
you. 'Cause I was like,
prioritized it. Yeah.
they should be paying because this was like it was a high quality image, and it's like they
Hmm.
could get like a sticker of it too. It's like a $3 sticker, and like I was
Yeah.
like, she should get paid for this. So I Venmoed her. I
Yeah.
was like, you have to get paid for this
Yeah.
Yeah.
because
Celine and you were like the ones getting mad at me for telling people it was free. Uh, it was pretty funny.
Celine, Moon Girl reads.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Moon Girl Reads, she because I did hers as well, and I
Yeah.
really liked it because like her shirt was like this white shirt, but it had like stripes on it, and I was like, you
Mhm.
could barely see it in the picture, but I was like, oh, I'm adding it. Her picture was like one of my favorite ones too, and because like her thing is like the moon, and her name also means like
Yeah.
Luna and meaning moon.
Hmm.
I was like, I have to add like a moon in the background for her, and
Yeah.
she had that as her profile picture for
it
quite
was
some.
iconic. It was literally an iconic. Like you looked at that photo and you knew, oh, that was Moon Girl Reads. Like you knew who it was.
Yeah.
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 Fun
Yeah.
fact, I didn't know you did that until just now. I didn't know you did hers. I didn't know that was
Yeah.
done by you.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that was me.
Sorry, I literally had no idea. I
That's
literally
No,
thought,
yeah, you should have totally charged for them.
yeah.
I
Missed
probably should have.
opportunity.
If I had, I probably would have made like maybe upwards $300 off of all the ones I
Nice.
did.
Nice.
Missed opportunity. It's fine though. But now people come to me like requesting that I make them logos and stuff like that for like their small
Yeah.
companies and things like that. And those I do
Oh,
charge.
that's good.
Yeah.
You have?
That's
What have you
good.
made?
I'm not gonna tell you.
Wait, how
I've
have I not?
well, the small companies, girl. Relax.
But I still want to know. Like, you'll have to text me after this. I'm gonna like hound you.
Okay, sure.
Sure.
She's like, I'm gonna put you on do not disturb. I'm gonna leave you on red.
Yeah.
We
I
have a
just,
book club. We literally have a book club in like 4 hours.
she's
So
gonna stop us from doing our meeting. She's like, nobody's gonna talk about this book until she responds to me.
Until she tells me who she made logos for.
yeah.
That's what it's gonna be about. No,
That's so
yeah,
funny.
it's cool. It's my other thing besides reading books and crying over them. That's my
Well,
thing.
Yeah, I feel like reading is like my entire personality. I don't even think I do anything else besides read or buy books or lounge and
Well, because
watch
buying
Netflix.
books and reading are two separate hobbies in
Oh,
That's two
themselves.
hobbies. That's two.
absolutely.
You got
I'm like I'm trying to talk myself out of doing like a book haul because I've been buying, like, I buy books, like, I go to the store, I find something, okay, I buy it, right? Realistically, my brain is not fast enough to get through all of these books, right? Like there's probably a huge portion in my shelf that I haven't read. Like I'm guessing something like 50% or like 45% maybe, I don't know. But like the rush that I get knowing I have packages coming, like books, and it's like you know, like buying 2, 3 books is not the same as like seeing that you have 15 books coming. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And so I'm always chasing that. And I'm trying to talk myself out of buying like a fat cart right now, telling myself like I don't need it. Yeah, I don't need it, but I want it. Like,
Oh
because like
yeah.
when I decide to read these books, at least I'll have them one hand. Like that's always my justification for everything. Like I know I won't get to them anytime soon because I have books from my February book haul that I still haven't even touched. But like when I'm ready, they're there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I also feel like though there's also like this thing of like in on like book talk and stuff, it's like you see these people who have hauls and they get like thousands of likes and hundreds of thousands of views and stuff, but then
Yeah.
like you feel pressure and you're like, well fuck, now I gotta
Yeah.
buy a bunch of books, like, but
Yeah.
but then you realize that the pressure doesn't come from anybody else. It's like there's this pressure of like
Yourself.
buying it because it makes you actually happy to buy books because
Yeah.
you're like, well
Yeah.
fuck, now I feel sad. Oh,
Yeah.
my Amazon cart is looking a little full.
You know what?
Amazon
Seeing
Prime.
that 2-day delivery, you're like, oh,
I
I'm
have I
sad
have
now,
student
but I'll be happy in
Prime.
2 days.
Yeah.
Like, you know what? I just might. I just might.
But like, have you ever had a book that like was sent to the wrong location? And
Dude, all the time. I get like missed deliveries all the time to my house.
I'm like, and you're like, oh, I had
Yeah.
The Crown of Gilded Bones was sent to my house, which is like 3 hours away.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was like waiting for like my mail room to send me an email, like, oh, your package is here, because I got the email that
Yeah.
Amazon delivered it, and then it like I looked at it and I looked at the delivery and it like showed a photo and it was like my house, and I was like,
Yeah. You know what? That happens to me a lot. Like, you know, because Amazon will take a picture when they deliver it, right? Wherever they leave it. And it always happens when I'm like expecting the book the most, like when I'm like so amped for it. And I think it was like I bought something and I forgot what it was, but it got delivered to a different house and they took a picture and they're like, yeah, delivered at your front porch. My house, my paneling outside is like a light pink. It got delivered to a house that was light blue. And I was like, and I was like on my way home and like I got the delivery notice. I was like, oh my God, great. Like I'm gonna get home. The book's gonna be there. I'm gonna be so excited. And then I saw the picture when I got home and I was like, what, where is this house even? Like what, my house number is the only house number for my street. Like where did you put this package? Right. And I go and contact Amazon. They're like, oh my God, like we're so sorry. Like, you know, like what can we do? Like, can we send a replacement? I'm like, yeah, please, because like how am I gonna track down the package? Like I don't even know where this blue house is. Like all the houses on my block are like green or white. Where's this blue house? I don't know. It's
It would.
always such a
Oh God.
Amazon makes me so happy and makes me so angry at the same time. Like
I love Amazon and yet hate them so much. 'Cause
I can't say I love or hate Amazon because I'm a Barnes and Noble employee, so I'm just gonna say I prefer to use Barnes and Noble when
you're
I'm at
like,
home.
wink, wink.
Wink, wink. I mean, I
Right.
get 40% off, so I really save a lot more buying at Barnes and Noble.
I
Dude,
love that.
her 40% off is like such a rush from
To
seeing
look
Yeah.
at.
it, like it's such an influx, and then as soon as the discount is applied and then it just like goes down so much.
Yeah.
When it drops from $100 to $60 and you're like,
I mean, you really don't need Amazon with a membership like that or like your discount like that.
yeah,
Like,
because like I can go into I can literally order the book to the store, and like if I end up
Hmm.
not wanting it, well it just stays at the store, or if I
Yeah.
don't actually buy it because I can like you can like ship to store kind of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it really is helpful that like, and like Amazon, just we all can agree Amazon is a terrible company when it comes to workers and like employees and stuff. They are
Yeah.
terrible. And like at least Barnes and Noble, it's great. We have like pizza parties and stuff sometimes. And like I'm still very
You're
close
like the
friends.
pizza party makes up for everything.
Yeah, I'm still like really close friends with, it's like the customers are like the only downfall of Barnes and Noble's are customers.
Yeah.
'Cause
Customer service. Yep.
yeah, because I work customer service. That's what, like when I was working there, they were like, "Yeah, we're just gonna leave you at customer service." And
Are
I
you
was like,
still you're still working there?
so I left for school this semester, and then
Yeah.
I got rehired again for the summer.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but
Yeah. Who needs Amazon when you have a 40%? And that's like 40% for any book, right?
yeah,
Hardcover or paperback. And you have access to early releases.
And the thing
Literally, like,
we can rent books. So like we can take a if it's a hardcover and the dust jacket comes off, we can like rent it
yeah.
and take it home and read it and then bring it back.
What do you mean when the dust jacket comes
Like
off?
so if the dust jacket like comes off, like not a paperback, so basically any hardcover book, you can
Yeah.
rent it and take it home and read it and then bring it back.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
So it's really, and like we get arcs and stuff. So we get
Yeah.
like arcs for a lot of books. Not a lot of popular books though. At least for
Yeah.
YA, we don't get it because at our location, YA isn't a very big section. It's starting to gain
Yeah.
more traction. But yeah, I'm the like local YA specialist at our bookstore and the romance.
Everybody goes to you for questions.
Yeah, no, literally, I like we have like our earpieces in, and they'll be like, "Hey Maggie, where are you?" And I'm like, "Where do you think I am?" And I'm like, "Well, this customer is looking for blah blah blah, like red, white, and royal blue." And I'm like, "Okay, I'll grab you a
Yeah.
copy." And like a minute later, I just hand the customer the copy, and they're like, "Thank you." And I'm like,
She knows where every YA.
You're like,
every
I
YA
hunted
has
this
come
down
across.
for you.
Yep.
"Yeah." They're
And
like,
Yeah.
"Oh, this author, this YA author." And I'm like, "I can lead you right to there." But
Yeah, it's crazy because like I'm sure like you get access to like early releases, right? So I got these books, like this came out September, Deadly Education. This came out September. Paperback though doesn't come out until Tuesday, right? But my Barnes and Noble had it. And I wanted I asked like the person at the register when I was paying, right? Because this doesn't come out till May 4th. I said, "Do you guys have Realm Breaker? Like, do you think I can purchase Realm Breaker?" And then they go, "Yeah, let me look it up for you," right? And then so they look it up and they're like, "Oh, sorry, like we can't sell this to you yet. It doesn't come out for a few more days." And like I had to bite my tongue and be like, "But this comes out,
so
like this is supposed to be sold May 4th and you're
So
selling it."
that's yeah. So there's an interesting thing called a strict on sale. So it's SOS means that by the publisher, like they're legally liable. Like if you sell before this date, you could get a lawsuit on your hand from the
Yeah.
publisher. So it's like a strict on
That's what
sale.
they mentioned.
So that's what like the Crown of Gilded Bones, a lot of very popular authors, like Sarah J. Maas was strict on sale. Like you would like
Yeah.
I went
Day of
home.
only.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
went home 2 weeks ago and I was talking to my like friend and I went into my Barnes and Noble that I worked at and I was like talking about it. I was like, "So do you have the Crown of Gilded Bones?" And she's like, "Yes." She was like, "Yes, I almost bought it." But then like we looked up again on Bookmaster and then it was like a strict on sale and we can't even buy like strict on sales. So
Yeah.
it was so sad. But like when Sky Beyond the Storm and then Lore came out, like that day I
Yeah.
bought them. And then they were sold out like 2
Mhm.
days later. So
Yeah, because I know like Tracy Wolf's books, like Covet, was always out for sale, like even before it was supposed to be on sale. They had that for Crush too, and like for Crave when I got it. And then they have it for Blade of Secrets by Trisha
Yeah.
Levenseller. This also isn't supposed to come out until Tuesday, but I was like, okay, great, take it home. And I
yeah.
actually like really wanted this book because I love Shadows Between Us, so
Oh,
I'm
Oh my
excited for
God.
this one.
Shadows Between Us is so good.
Yeah, I
yeah.
I feel like that was like one of the fastest books I've ever devoured.
It was
Like it was
so
so
fast.
good.
I
It
like
was so good for me.
that's why I couldn't give it a 5 stars because I was like it was too fast for me because I loved the
Yeah.
story. I enjoyed it and I feel like she could have expanded so much on like the book
It
to
was
make
like 300 or so pages. Like it could have used a little bit more, like
yeah.
especially towards the end. Like
Yeah.
I was like, where are we going with this
It
in the
felt
end?
really
But
rushed.
overall, it was like
Yeah.
I was like, dang, like I'm really invested in what's happening, and like I was like the tension in here between you two, like
Oh my gosh. I could not
I was
handle
like, please give me more.
Yeah. That's
it.
why I rated it like a 4 out of 5 I think is because I was like I refuse to give this a 5 stars because I wanted it to be longer. And like
Yeah,
the fact that it was only 300 pages, I was like it'd easily be a 500-page book. Like
easily, and
easily.
it would still have sold.
Yeah.
Like
Man.
everybody would have still enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Trisha Levenseller, she does a really good job of like giving you those short stories that
Yeah,
are so much so much happens in such a small amount of time. Like you
yeah.
get all of this build up and it's so like put together so well that
Hmm.
you're like, yes, something's gonna come, something's happening. And then like you're reaching and then you realize you only got like maybe like 20 pages left.
Yeah, and you're like, wait, like how are we gonna wrap this up in 20 pages?
How, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Happens so
I
fast.
haven't read Daughter of the Pirate King or like the Siren Queen one. I've only read, Shadows Between Us for her, but I think I'm probably going to be more inclined to read this before I start the other ones. This
Yeah.
looks really good. Like this cover is
Yeah.
unreal.
I feel like her books are, because they're fast reads. They are the good books to get out of like a reading slump out of,
Yeah.
because it's such a
Mm-hmm.
fast read that like
Yep.
that's why I think I'll probably read like Daughter of a Pirate King when I want to get back into like like YA fantasy. Like I've been reading.
I heard that one's good too.
Yeah,
Like I heard that one's really engaging.
yeah, I have been reading Covet for like the last 3 weeks now. I with Tracy Wolf, specifically her books,
Yeah.
the Crave series. It takes me about a month to read each book,
Dude.
which
Oh.
it's so like they're so good and I enjoy it, and I think that's why I take forever to read it, because I think about it too much where I'm like, well, I can't finish this book. Like I
Oh,
want
I'm
to
the
go.
opposite. I don't think I enjoyed the books that much. I think it took me so long to read it because I wasn't invested in it. Like I
Mhm.
literally kept putting the book down. And it took me like a week to get through Crave, another week to get through Crush. And Crush was like a little bit better because Hudson was giving me recent vibes. And that's
Don't
literally
spoil
the
too
only
much. Grace
thing.
has not read it.
Haven't
So,
read it.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
But
no, don't worry. I won't tell you anything. But that's the only thing that powered me through it. Like, but overall, like I felt like it read really slow for me, and that's kind of why I'm a little bit like hesitant to start Covet, because Covet is like 600 pages,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna be reading a lot of like 600-page books back to back. Like Gilded Bones is 600 pages. I read Nightfall, which was like from Penelope Douglas. That was also 600 pages, and I feel like my brain will get fried if I
Yeah.
go through all of these like thick books together.
I'm also in a smut phase right now, and I think that's why I'm not reading it, because I'm in a smut phase where I'm like, I'm reading adult romances. I read like The Hated
Yeah,
Game. I read They Both Die in the End and If I Stay, and they were like YA sad books, but that's because I wanted to be sad.
yeah.
But like I've been in my smutty read where I'm like, I just want sex. Like I don't want children. I want
Yeah,
sex. I
you
want
gotta
people
scratch
my
the
age.
itch.
Like
Yeah,
hey,
you gotta
everybody
scratch
goes
the
through it.
itch.
like
We
everybody
have
goes through
those
it.
ruts of just like, pure and just
Just
we just
pure
need
smut.
that.
Like I just
that
want kitty butterflies today. Like I don't want any world building. I don't want to know who has powers, who's gonna be the queen. Like I just want kitty butterflies.
Yeah.
Mhm, mhm.
Penelope Douglas.
I'm so
Penelope Douglas will
excited to
solve
read
all of your
Corrupt.
problems for you.
It's crazy because like before I really started like getting into your content, I was like, those books are meant for my Kindle only. But then I
Yeah.
started seeing you with so many of them in physical form, and I'm like, I think I
I'm just
need
like
them.
a physical copy whore. That's why. Like
Yeah.
when I have them on my Kindle, I don't remember what books I've read, because like on Kindle you can only rent out 10 titles at a time, right? And like sometimes like I'll have titles on there that I've read and I don't even remember I read it because it's not in my library anymore.
Right, right.
Like I mean, like the easy solution, right, is to just like, write down your titles, like write down what you've read, but like I'll still forget it. Like if I don't see it on my shelf, I'll forget that I read it, which
Yeah.
is why I buy, even if the covers are so absolutely just horrendous. Like nobody has to know. Like this cover, look, this one is
I want that. I
like,
saw the cover and I was like, what book is that?
can we just like put like a plastic paper on this? Nobody has to know what this book is
Oh my
about, because
gosh.
like
So like this one lady, I saw her on TikTok a while ago, and she was like, if you have this problem with these men on your covers,
yeah,
remember all in middle school when we used to have to like cover our textbooks with those
book
paper
sleeves.
Oh my god, the book
Yeah, book
sleeves,
sleeves.
the
Yeah,
colorful ones.
Yeah, so
Yes.
she made a book sleeve for just for like adult romance books,
yeah.
and she put them on, and she's just like, and no one has to know.
Fun fact, I
But that's
literally
the thing though, is like they're mostly paperbacks, like all of these like
so
smutty books. Like
I just sent Grace like a little TikTok video today of a woman putting like a book, like a dust jacket on a paperback book. And she like shows you how to do it. And she like had it for A Court of Thorns and Roses. She put like a paperback like thing
mhm.
on the book. So it's like this white and gold. It's beautiful. It looks amazing. She's like, yeah, just if you want to like cover up like a paperback thing,
Yeah.
just put on like a thing. But then I'm like, I have like the mass paperback copies of J.R. Ward's Black Dagger Brotherhood series, and like those are like
Oh my
two.
God, wait, I think I saw those books at Barnes and Noble.
Yeah.
Like, they're not like, I feel like they're not books that I would see at Barnes and Noble, you know?
It's
They're adult romance.
They're
They're
adult
adult romance. But
Like
they're like those
eroticas.
It's
old,
erotica. Yeah, it's like 50 Shades of Grey,
Yeah.
erotica.
that old like early 2000s era
Yeah.
erotica, kind of like and it's like about
Vampires.
vampires. So it's like, you know, that early 2000s
Yeah.
era of vampires with like the goth look and like the
Yeah.
overly tough and like big bulky leather pants,
I mean,
piercing,
you read
tattoos.
the books, Grace.
Hey, I'm not saying that
I
that's
read
not.
8 of them. It's okay. I read
I
8
grew
of them in 1 month.
I grew up with it. I grew up with that vibe, so I
Yeah.
understand it. But like, if you're like the type of person, for our listeners as well, like if you're the type of person who's going to be like, well, why isn't this here? Why isn't this present in this book? Why are they talking to girls like that? Why,
Yeah.
you have to realize different era of romance,
Yeah.
because romance has changed, stories have changed in the way that they talk to
Mm-hmm.
women, talk about women, and just certain themes in certain books, you know.
Yeah.
So you got to remember these books are from years ago. So you have to
Yeah.
remember
It
the
was a different
time.
time. It was written at a different time.
Yeah.
Still good though.
And a
And
different, like, there's also like a different like society like mentality now, where it's
Mhm.
like if we read that in stories, we would be just absolutely appalled. But like before, that's what everybody was reading, that's what everybody was digesting, so that's what people wrote.
Yeah.
Yep. It's still good
You
though.
know?
Still
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
And we kind of had this talk with Tish about like
Yeah.
the idea of like dark romances and stuff. We were talking with Tish about this, and like it is kind of more of a darker romance where like we don't agree with the things that they are doing. We wouldn't agree with that in reality, but
In
like
real
that's why
life.
it's meant for like older, it's an older content for older readers, because like
Yeah.
we know that like, oh, this wouldn't be acceptable in regular society. Like this is fictional. This is a fictional
Yeah.
world. This
I
doesn't
that's like a huge I think ongoing conversation too when it comes to reading like dark romances or like even just smutty books in general, because their actions are always like a little bit questionable, like all the time, right? And I feel like people, and you know, like it's also that with like the rise of like book talk, right, and like all of like this like Wattpad kind of writing and like stories and like mafia and like I feel like people are like there's like that trend going where it's like, oh my God, I'm 16 and I read that book. Oh my God, like you know, like when I read Sylvia Day's books, right, like the Crossfire series, people would be like, oh my God, I read that when I was 12 or 13. And it's like I feel like it's like that trend where people are like, yeah, like I'm young, but I'm still reading like all of these books when these books are not meant for your age. Like you're not, I mean, like you don't just turn 17 into 18 and like suddenly like develop like, you know, that's like emotional maturity, right? And everybody has a different like emotional maturity. Like maybe you are 16 and you can handle books like this, or maybe you're like 25 and you still can't handle books like these. You know what I mean? Like, and I feel like the people like expect that because we enjoy toxic romances like that where you know the female characters are getting bullied, like that we would condone that in real life. But I don't read these books projecting my moral compass onto them, you know what I mean? Like I read these books because they're fun as hell. Like I would never let myself live through that in real life, so why can't I just enjoy it like in a fake reality for me? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
and like I feel like people are always like kind of judgmental about that. Like you would condone like he was bullying her, like you're okay with that? If that should happen to me in real life, like I'd be out the door in like
This
0.5
motherfucker would be
seconds.
beaten. This
Yeah,
motherfucker would
like
be
I
No.
would not, if my
like
boyfriend did that to me, I would
Ever.
castrate him, you know? But like in the books, I'm like, this shit isn't real for me.
yeah.
So if you want to bully her, you go and you bully her. Like
Yeah.
if this is gonna make it a fun book for me to read, why not?
It's
Yeah.
kind of like that idea that like that's why it's written for a more mature audience, is because we realize that like this is wrong. I would never do this. Whereas like you have
Yeah,
younger audiences who are reading this and they can't
more
comprehend that yet.
impressionable. Yeah,
They
Mhm.
aren't mature enough to understand that, and they're not
yeah,
mature enough to separate reality from fiction just yet. Because
Mhm.
like
yeah,
at that age, I mean, after like a
Yeah,
James
like
Bond movie, I was running around my house like I was some Bond villain. Like I was like shooting my hand and shooting fake guns and stuff. Like
yeah,
I would not be doing that now. Like that's definitely like I was acting like I was killing people at like
yeah,
14.
yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
I did not know reality from fiction.
Yeah.
And then like I
Like,
hit like a certain age and I was like, this is dumb. Like I should not,
yes.
this is not what I want in life. Like I don't want to be murdered. I don't want to be, I mean, I'd like to be strangled, but I wouldn't like to die.
Like, I want you to choke me out, but I don't want you to choke me out. Like,
Yeah,
There's
like
a difference. It's all in
yeah.
the pressure, honey. I don't feel like I can't breathe, but just a little tightness.
Like,
That's
just
all
like,
I need.
like,
Just a
just show me
little.
what you could do, but don't show me what you could really do.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we have boundaries. We
Let
have
me
boundaries.
see.
Please don't exceed them. Don't overstep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's so funny to me because it's just like people are here I go again, outing myself. This boyfriend that I had early on, he when he found out that I was reading certain types of books, he was interested in kind of what is it? And kind
Yeah.
of like he didn't know how to deal with it at first, but then like as I started like being more open with him and like telling him like this is what I read, let me
Yeah.
read some of these to you and show you what it's all about. He was kind of open to it, and then that was like pretty fun. And then he started getting like asking me questions like, "Do you like that stuff?" And I'm just
Like,
like,
in real life, like, do you
"Yeah,
want those things done to
yeah."
you?
And
Yeah.
I was like, "Well,
You're like, I wouldn't be opposed to it,
I
but
yeah,
Something called role play.
which parts? Which parts?" And then and that's part of it being like, that's where you can differentiate between having a fictional relationship, how
yeah.
it is, and having an open real relationship. You're having that open discussion and you're talking to each other,
Mhm.
you're having that communication. And so it's
Yeah.
built doing certain things, it's built on trust, and it's built on connection and communication.
Yeah.
And that's where the healthy side comes out. So we
Yeah.
in books you don't get it too much. Like how often in a book that we're reading and we're just like, oh my gosh, just talk to each other, just
Yeah.
tell each other,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
and the fact that certain readers don't see that missing component, and they're just like, oh, but
Yeah.
it's okay to do that. There's
Yeah,
a
but
difference.
it's because they haven't experienced it in real life. Like, they wouldn't know the difference with just reading it versus, like, having gone through it, that it's not
Yeah,
the same thing. Yeah.
literally. Like I was having a conversation with my brother the other day. Snap, I shouldn't say this. I was
Wait,
having
about
this
this?
conversation with my brother the other day because, like, we talk about girls, we talk about guys, and
Yeah.
he kind of tells me how girls think, and I tell him how guys think from our perspectives, right?
Yeah.
And he'll correct me, that's not what guys really are like, and I'll correct him, well,
Yeah.
that's not what girls are like. And then I had to like tell him, like, you're kind of boring. And he's like, what do you mean? And he's just like, well, why don't you talk to these girls, and why don't you like open up the conversation and see where more possibilities could be. And then he
Yeah.
kind of looks at me and he's just like, you've been reading too many books. And I'm just like, hey.
That's totally where I saw that conversation going.
And I told him, I'm trying to help you out, helping you out.
That is so
You're
funny.
getting the inside track. Most of these girls probably don't know about that. I'm giving you the inside scoop. And he's just like, oh my gosh,
You're gonna be ahead of the game.
you're ahead of the game. I'm
Nobody's
helping you out.
nobody's even at the finish line, but you're already way past it.
You're already there. And he's just like, oh my gosh. But it's part of like, that thing of like we take what we like from the books to insert into our
Yeah.
real life, but
Yeah.
we know the limits.
Mhm.
Where it's like that's not
It's
okay.
not just like a full out, like,
Yeah.
I
Am I
am
gonna
gonna embody every single thing that's happening in this book in my life.
exactly.
Absolutely not.
I'm not gonna let a
Absolutely
man
not.
belittle me in front of somebody. Like, hell, who are you talking to?
Yeah.
No.
I would be like, you wanna try that again? Like, I know
Try
you
that.
did not just say that.
But do I
Yeah.
want someone to give me the look and be like, yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Grace, you're a whole mood Literally. Like, I
Hey,
want you to do this, but I don't want you to do it all the way.
yeah, don't do it. Check me,
Like,
but
but don't
don't stop
demand that I do what you, yeah, like,
me. Check me, but don't stop me. That's the line. You know,
exactly.
that's funny. And you know, it's crazy because like people are always about romance readers are saying like that's the type you want this like alpha male to come and like, you know, and I'm just like,
Well, why not?
Yeah.
Well, I think
I
there's
hate
like
everybody but you. Well, yeah.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
like there's
What?
also
Like,
something called like role play. Like it's a thing where
yeah.
like you can like live out your fantasies through role play, but then like you have like a safe word and it ends like
Hello, 50 Shades of Grey.
I know, right?
Literally.
like
So
Safe
the
word.
opening comment.
Hello.
like I don't think a lot of people realize that like it can be
Yeah.
very like it doesn't have to be black
It's
or white.
liberating.
It's liberate
Yep.
like it's like hey, like your significant other reads a scene and y'all want to act it out together, might
Yeah.
as
I think
well.
that's a huge thing with like book talk. It's like everything has to be black or white. Like
Yeah.
everything. Like, and like there are some, like the whole morally gray characters, right? Like, well, if like you stand somebody who murders people, like that like says a lot about you. And I'm like, but does it? Like, do you really think that because like, like with the Darkling, right? Like, do you think because I stand the Darkling that I would be completely okay if somebody I knew was out there like murdering masses of people?
Yeah. Well,
Like me liking him has nothing to do with me condoning that in real life. Like
yeah.
I would never allow anybody I knew to go unchecked like that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
And a
like the
lot of
Darkling is
characters
like this hot fake villain.
yeah.
He's fake. Like,
Yeah.
what do you want me to do
I
about
mean,
him?
well, Ben Barnes is
I mean, don't even get me
Ben
started
like
on
we
the
literally
fact-
talked about Ben Barnes for like 20 minutes in the last episode. I think every single episode we've mentioned Ben Barnes because Ben Barnes.
Ben Barnes is like
he's something
unreal.
else. Hey, I fell in love
Unreal.
with him the moment he
Prince
crossed the
Caspian.
screen in Heck yeah, Prince
Yeah.
Caspian took,
My
and the
heart.
fact that he was supposed to be like a Spaniard, like you know that audio on TikTok is just like when you're trying to date like some like a white person or something like that or like
Yeah.
whatever, and then like you come out of your head and the sound is just like, are you that mentally colonized and blah 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 and all of these things.
Yeah.
And the fact that Caspian was a Spaniard, and I'm just like, damn, I shouldn't really like him, he's supposed to be like he's a colonizer, but I'm just like, damn though, he's that little accent that he was putting in kind of like made me like, yes, sir. What do you need? No, but really, he was something else. I don't know what it is. He has one of those faces that
The
just
way
makes
that he just
you,
plays the role. Like
yeah,
it's
Well,
just like
he was actually
astounding.
fan casted as the Darkling for years on Tumblr. Like
years.
Was
years
he?
apparently. And like
Oh my gosh.
was. And apparently that's like why like they chose him was because like fans actually were like we want Ben Barnes to be the dark like and you see him when you see him Grace literally when I saw him I went oh my god.
How
So
far
like
into Shadow and Bone are you, Grace?
I'm I'm watching it with my brother because we're gonna have an episode with him
Yeah.
talking about the show, because like he has not read any of the books, he doesn't know anything,
Yeah.
so he's gonna give us that viewpoint of just the show while me and
Mhm.
Maggie give the side about the books and stuff. So I'm watching it with him, and we have only watched one episode, but it's because we're both like so
The
busy.
first episode.
I know, right?
It's been like
And
a week now.
it's because number one, my TV broke and I have to get a new one. Um,
Yeah.
I've been reading The Crown of Gilded Bones in preps for our
Yeah.
meeting. So I'm like, I can't read during this week. And
Mhm.
he's just like, I want to enjoy it. And he even told me, he's like, I feel like this is gonna be a show that I'm gonna want to rewatch after I watch it with you. And I'm just like, bet, me too. We're gonna rewatch
Dude,
it.
I've been rewatching it nonstop.
Yeah.
Like
And he's
it's
pretty
on the
good about
background
like
every
shows
single
that
time.
yeah, for sure. So
Yeah.
I know because like I've seen like stills of him or whatever. And it's something about the way that he looks, like so
Yeah.
intensely. It's like,
Yes. The way he just like dominates the Darkling as a character, like he plays him so well. Like I never would have guessed, like, because like I'm used to the fan art, right? That Salome has made for
Yeah.
the Darkling, like Morgana O Anagram. And so like obviously in my head, like that's who I visualize. Like when I was reading the books, I was visualizing him, and like seeing him come to life with Ben Barnes, I was just like what more could I have asked for? Like I don't know if there could have been anybody better to play him other than like literally taking that fan art and like 3D printing them into
Yeah.
a real person. You know what I mean? Like he did it so well. Like he is just so like menacing and like intimidating and confident
Cool
and like
voice.
He's able just to embody the Darkling, not even through talking, like just the way he like holds himself, and like it's
yes,
the posture and the fact that he looks down on people. It embodies
the
that, like the
darkness, like
Darkling
the shadows.
of just like looking down at somebody, and you're just like, yes, daddy. You're just like, yes,
So
yes.
the only when you watch the first episode, did you see him standing
Yep.
right when the skiff leaves? Like so
I
initially when
saw
her
that. Oh,
I don't know
Yeah.
if this is going to be a spoiler for people who haven't watched the first episode,
Just
but
skip
it's
30 seconds.
yeah.
well,
So when
if you've
when
read the
her
book,
scarf
yeah.
goes, flies back, and you see it pan to
The
him standing
cape.
there with his cape.
Okay, so like watching that scene,
I didn't notice it the first time.
Really?
watching the whole episode, like though,
Mm-mm.
like Jacob was like telling me like, because like when I saw the first Grisha, and I saw
Yeah.
the kefta, I was like, right, you know,
Yeah.
you're seeing the kefta, right? And so I was just like,
Yeah.
and then like after that scene right there and transitions to a new scene, Jacob like turns to me. He's just gonna be like, "Are you gonna be gasping every time a character comes in?" And I was just like, first of all, I gasped at the costume, not the person. So back up. And then when I saw that scene that we're talking about,
Mm-hmm.
I literally went like,
Just like his cape blowing in the wind. Just like you haven't
not
even
even
seen his
face.
face, and he's already majestic. Like you're already in love with him just by the way he stands and the way he carries the character, and we haven't even seen his face.
I'm
And
so
that's like
sad.
a testament to like Ben Barnes as an
Yeah.
actor, because like
Yeah,
if you've
just
seen like
so domineering.
yeah, if you've seen Dorian Gray, if you've seen like him in
Yeah,
Caspian and all of the other movies that he's been in, he does such a good job of embodying who he is portraying, that he
yeah,
becomes that person. It's not no longer that you're seeing the person there, but you're seeing
yeah,
the actor as just another side of him. Kind
Him
of like
and
how you
Johnny
do
yeah,
with, like
Gray.
Johnny Depp, like every role that he does, you don't see that person, the
yeah,
the character that they're portraying. You're just seeing the actor as
yeah.
another,
It's literally
like
like Tony Stark with Robert Downey
yeah,
Jr. Like
exactly,
he is Tony Stark in real life.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the
It's
way he
not
is with everything, like
yeah.
that's always like the best part about watching them.
Oh my gosh, it's not that you're not seeing Tony Stark, you're seeing RDJ. That's like
Yeah,
automatic,
Yeah.
and
yeah.
that's how you know that you have the perfect cast for like
Mm-hmm.
book adaptation. Is just like there's no awkwardness, no transition between the
Yeah,
character and the thing. But I think also it has to do with like the writing, that Leigh Bardugo, she was like really invested and a part of like
She
the
was in
writing
it.
together. Yeah.
She
yeah.
was like, I when I saw
She
her in it,
she did a
I
cameo.
recognized her, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I can't wait to watch with my parents and to tell them that and be like, that's the author. Like
Yeah,
that's
I
the
was so
author
shook.
when I pointed
Did you
out.
guys see that video on Instagram where she meets the cast for the
Yes.
first time? I
So cute.
literally like
Can
my
you
heart was like soaring. Yeah, like she was so excited. She was literally in like tears the entire time. Like and like when Ben Barnes comes up behind her,
oh my
like I was
god.
like, they were
Because we
they were
all,
probably filming, right? That's why they were
yeah.
whispering. But I would have screamed. I would have.
Well, like we all remember when she told, like when she talked about that, like how Ben Barnes like came up behind her and said like, "Fine, make me your villain," and
Yeah,
everybody,
but nobody knew the context.
yeah, nobody was like, "What?" And then like to see that now, you're like
Yeah,
full circle. But like every author
yeah.
wants that their book to be
You know
made
what's
into TV.
it's crazy because like really quickly, there was like we were saying that he was fan casted on Tumblr. I saw someone found like the thread of like Ben Barnes in like a long trench coat, black
Yeah.
trench coat. And it's like, I don't even know from what the picture is, but this is like, Tumblr era.
Mhm.
And somebody commented something, but then Leigh Bardugo replied to the thread of the picture, and she's just like, I don't know what it is, but I really like the look of that long coat. And I was like, that's the moment. That's the moment where she
Yeah.
put
Everything
him.
clicked for her.
She was just like, he's that person.
He
And
read
the
the book.
fact that
Yeah.
years later, now he's actually
Here
playing,
we are.
and he has, it's not just that he does a good job of just being an actor, but he's like
Mhm.
an actual fan. Like, he reads the books. He's a Dark Lena fan, so those scenes between them are
Oh,
It was
rooted
like
also.
even better.
Oh, wait,
Even
Grace.
better.
Wait till you see the scenes. There's a scene where something happens and you're just like, oh, I wish I was her right now.
And
Pauline knows what scene I'm talking about, and you're like, oh, I wish that was me. And you're
When
just
I
like,
like
found out,
I was
oh,
so shook. Like, oh my God, I was screaming when I saw it. I was like,
I wish
there's
that.
and it's
absolutely no
crazy because
way.
like, it's just like, can you imagine that being a part of your favorite ship? Like, making that happen. You're not only, because like, I bet you part of him is like making certain looks and certain things more intense, because like he feels
Yeah.
like this would be canon. This has to be canon.
Yeah.
The way that I look at her, the way that oh my gosh, man. I can't wait for something like, you know what? I'm hoping, Maggie, when we finish our book, I'm hoping we ever find people to make our adaptations into reality. Let that happen.
Are you guys writing a book together?
We are slowly.
Oh, how
We
exciting.
haven't gotten back to it because I've just been busy. This semester has been. I've been at 18 credits. I'm working. We have the
Yeah.
podcast going.
18
Just
credits. Wow. Are you
Yeah.
insane?
yeah, I'm
Wow.
a junior standing. So next year is technically my sophomore year of
Yeah.
college,
Yeah,
credit
she's
wise.
crazy. She's insane. A little bit.
Yeah.
It's perfect though.
Really. 18.
I know.
I could have never. I think max I took was probably like, I don't know, like 12 or maybe 16.
Yeah.
Maybe on a good semester.
Yeah.
And not doing
Insane.
anything else.
Yeah. No, I would not be able to juggle as many things as you are.
Yeah.
Like I have like, I'm in a program right now and I only have like class 3 days a week, and I'm already exhausted from that alone. Like, and from like doing social media, like and from reading, like actually
Yeah.
devoting the time to read every single day too. Like, it's
Oh, I'm not
insane.
getting A's.
Kudos to you.
I'm not getting A's. Well, I mean, I do have like 104% in one class, but that's because like he gave us extra credit because other people
Goals.
were failing so much that like they had to get
Yeah.
extra credit. And I was like, well, I might as well just have like 104 in this class.
Yeah.
Another class is like acting, which it's not really like a class at all. We haven't had a single grade put in the grade book yet. So
Yeah.
I just have 100 in that class. But like my other classes like finance, BIA, accounting, management, all those ones are
Are
actually
you a business major?
yeah, I'm an accounting major. I'm
Nice.
in
Wow.
accelerated Masters of Accounting program. So I get my master's in 4 years.
Wow.
I know,
That is
right?
so exciting. Congratulations.
Yeah. So
Dude, I tried to do accounting. I absolutely could not.
What are you in for?
I graduated 2019. I did human resource management, but I did not pursue like a career in HR. And then now I'm in a esthetician program that ends in like July-ish. So I'm almost done with it, thank God, because like I hate the class. But I started with accounting when I went into business, because like, like I come from a family of like nurses, so everybody was like, oh, become a nurse, right? Like go through like the trade school, like American Career College here in California, or like West Coast University. And I was like, no, can't do nursing. Like, I'm not good at science. I absolutely cannot do it. And then I went into business and I was like, but what am I going to do in business? Like, what is there to do? Right. My first thought was accounting because, like, the whole idea of like, well, we're always going to need to know how to manage money. Like, so I went into accounting and I absolutely hated it. Like, I only liked 2 of my classes, but anything past that, I don't think I could have handled it. And so I went into HR, which is like, I think the easiest of the route that I could have taken,
Yeah.
which,
Accounting is
and I'm not
interesting.
even in the career.
I took it in high school, so that's why I was in AP accounting in high school, so that's why I was able to easily go into accounting and because I came to the school specifically for my program.
Nice.
So that's the one. I would not be paying this much money for any other program besides this one.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
but yeah, it takes a unique person. And it's funny because I was talking with my other friends who are in business school with me, and I was like, I'm like the most accounting person there is. Where it's like you look at me and you would think I am not gonna be an accountant. And like I don't plan
Yeah.
I am gonna say I'm kind of doing it to like please my parents, but I like accounting. Like it's something that I can fall
Yeah.
back on. So I have that like fallback plan, but I
But it's
really
not like your actual
yeah.
main dream.
I will tell you my actual like main goal, but like I can't say it on here because I don't think it would be appropriate to. um
What is it?
I talked about it on at dinner. I'll just say I talked about it on dinner at dinner on Thursday, and all of my friends looked at me and was like, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah." And they're
Wait,
like,
I'm so
"I'll
curious
have
what
to
it
tell you
is.
after because I cannot say it. I cannot say
Can
it."
you just like mouth it? Just like cover your mic and just mouth.
No, I can't.
Like,
It,
does it
it feels
include?
too. I don't know if Grace knows about it, but
It's probably not as bad as it could be.
yeah, it's not as bad as it could.
It's not bad. It's not bad. It's not.
Wait, do you know Grace?
I have no idea, but I
Oh.
know you, and I don't think it would be where the mind
I'm
would go.
so intrigued.
We'll tell you. It'll be
It's funny because it's
it'll
like
be a
based.
private.
Yeah, it's based off of
podcast.
like fantasy and.
Oh my god, that's not the way to explain it.
It's based on a fantasy book.
That's not the way to explain it, girl.
Yeah,
Anyways,
I'll tell you after.
how about we
Transition.
so let's go back to books, yeah? The actual books. Pauline, this is one thing I wanted to ask you. You've had your boyfriend kind of in a couple of your videos now. So
Yeah.
what does he have to say about all of your romance books that you read? Like,
To be quite honest with you, he doesn't really know. Like, he doesn't know the extent to which like I read, right? I feel like he usually catches me at a time where it's like when I'm reading with him, that it's like I think like I was probably reading like a contemporary romance. Like I might have like had Verity on me, like when he was asking me like, oh, what's that about? And I'm like, oh, it's like a thriller romance, right? And then like maybe Wrath in the Dawn, and I was like, oh, like she's supposed to kill him, and like, but I don't think that he's ever really caught me at a time where I'm like reading pure smut that he was like asking me, hey, what are you reading? And like I would have to tell him like, oh, she's in a threesome right now. Like that's where I am. But like he knows and he doesn't care. Like I read to him, like he obviously doesn't know the plot of Den of Vipers, right? Which that book is just, anyways.
it's another level.
We're not gonna talk.
And so I was reading, like I was, telling him to describe One With You with Sylvia Day, which if you guys haven't read the series, the Crossfire series, it's smutty, right? Like there's a lot of smutty scenes in it. And when he described it, like he obviously doesn't know what actually goes on in the book. And even with Christina Lawrence's Dirty Rowdy Thing, which I had him do, like he also doesn't know what that's about. Like, but he doesn't really care. Like he doesn't care about like, like the smutty books I read. Like if anything, it's to his benefit. Right. Because like, you know what I mean? Like if I get in the mood, then kudos to him, right? Like because of the book, you know what I mean? Like, so he doesn't care about that. Like he honestly, like if I'm reading with him, he's just kind of like, oh, okay, like what's another day? Like he absolutely doesn't know what the plots are. I don't know if I could look at him in the eye and tell him what I'm reading.
Does he read?
No. Well, like he reads, like, like he'll read he's not like into a specific genre like I am. Like he wouldn't read like fantasy books, but he'll read like kind of like biography books. Like he'll do a lot of like Kobe Bryant or like something sport related, but like not anything like what I read kind of thing. So
Yeah. Well, I think that that's like either the good way that you can have a relationship with like a reader is like either the the other person is like really invested and it's just like, okay, I'll read them with you and like really supportive
yeah,
of it like that, or they're just kind of like nonchalant about it. It's either
yeah,
one of the two that you could get, which is
yeah.
both of them are pretty good either way.
Yeah, like because I freaked out about him, like, you know, with all of my books. Like when I read Addie in October, like we were on a trip. And so like I was reading it on that trip and I was like crying to him and like, you know, it'd be like midnight and I got to like the end of Addie and like I was like sobbing to him. He's like, "What's wrong with you? Like, why are you crying?" And I was like, "This book just like made me so sad." And like he knows all about how I feel about Song of Achilles when I read it. When I was like sobbing, I was sending him pictures of like, this is what this book did to me. And then I did A Little Life, and you know, he was asking me like, "What is that about?" And I told him every fucking horrendous thing that happened to Jude in that story. And like I was like absolutely floored. And like I feel like one of the things that I'm like really like grateful for when it comes to him is that like if I were to tell him that I am like reading this much smut, like he wouldn't care. Like he wouldn't be judgmental about it kind of thing, you know. And I feel like if he was, like, even us being together for so long, like I feel like that would be kind of like really hard for me to get past, you know,
Mm-hmm.
if I were to like tell him that this is what I enjoy and then for him to judge me on something like that and like think that like, you know, it's weird or like it's something that he has to come around to, I would kind of be like taken off guard. Like, why do you have to come or like it's not affecting me
Yeah.
and you in real
Yeah.
life?
Yeah.
You know what I
I
mean? Kind of thing. So thank God he's not like that because like I don't think I would know. Like
What to
I would be so torn and troubled with how I could like approach that or like how I would even move past that to know that somebody's like that with me. You know what I mean? Like especially
yeah.
having been with him for so long, like he's literally like my best friend. Like and for that to be like completely like changed just because he finds
How
out
long
what I'm
have you
reading.
guys how long have you guys been together?
7 years. It's gonna be 8 in a month.
wow.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's commitment I could never do.
Oh yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm
Grace, what are you
probably
talking about? You were in a relationship for almost 6 years. You were
well,
like,
that's why I was saying I don't know because like I'm overly committed. Like once I find
Yeah.
you, I like latch onto you and I'm not letting you
Yeah.
go. Which
I'm very monogamous like that too.
yeah, like I feel like that's why certain books kind of like appeal to me about like the monogamy, about like finding that one person to be with, to be my
Yeah.
other person, to be
Mm-hmm.
my friend, to my confidant, my person who uplifts me, but also like,
Yeah.
you know, holds me back as well.
Poppy
Like I have to have
Castile,
yeah.
Jason, Rowaylon,
Yeah, you know, those
all of the
guys.
great love stories.
It's crazy because like people like look at these books sometimes and they're just like, oh, how could you like that person? And it's just like because there's moments in the book that have those like real like deep
Yeah.
relationship moments, that those are the
Mm-hmm.
moments that you crave. Those are the moments that you crave
Yep.
in a partner, where they listen to you and they let you be themselves and they love
Yeah.
you, of course all the extra stuff, you know, but like those extra parts mean more to me. Like I love books that have
Yeah.
it's the
the
relationship.
foundation. Yeah, it's a
Relation
Mm-hmm.
relationship.
yeah,
It's a
Grace
big
really analyzes. That's what I've noticed about Grace, is Grace really likes that connection and the emotional of a relationship. Like, yeah, she likes a lot of the spice,
Yeah.
but for her, it's a lot of like the moments that she loves is those key
Yeah.
moments
All
that
the
like
tiny
help
moments.
develop a relationships, the
Yeah.
butterfly moments where you're like, oh my gosh, this is so cute. Like the slight brush of the hand,
oh
the
my god.
Yeah.
like
Like it's like, you know, when
yeah.
you feel like that lump in your throat because like you're just like, you know, like something happens between the two of them and you're just like this is like so suffocatingly good. You know what I mean? Where like you literally feel like your heart ache, like your
Yeah.
chest is heavy, like your lungs hurt, because like you're just so eager to see what unfolds with them. And
Oh my
like
gosh.
that's literally why I will never I can't even read like any book right now without romance in it. Because like
Oh my
I
gosh.
crave that in every single book.
I
Yeah.
need it.
Like
I
that's what
need
I
that.
live for. Like it's fine. Like to me, it's fine if they don't have sex. Like because like their emotional connection, like
Everything.
as long as it goes deep, like it hurts you in all the best ways. Like that's how I felt with people we meet on vacation, which is why I loved it so much. Like just like the emotional connection between them. And it's like you could have the spice, right? And it'll be just like a cute little bonus added in there because like the love is there.
Mhm.
But then when you just have the sex and no love, you're kind of
It,
just like,
it,
why do I care about you guys? Like
yeah.
I'm not invested.
Mhm.
But and that's not to say for those of us who, who don't care about that,
Yeah.
who just want,
Time and a place.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, like
Yeah.
Maggie's more about those like intense like scenes and like
That's
having,
Yeah.
just what I need at the moment. Like
yeah.
I've definitely read like I read like The Hating Game.
Mm.
And that was like that's like a cute romance. I have like a bunch of cute romances that I just bought that I'm doing like a blue June, which is gonna be like my like all blue books that I'm doing in June.
Hmm.
And like I have some of those romance books that like The Marriage Game, Beach Read, Meet You in
Hmm.
the Middle, The Perfect Escape, Her Royal Highness. Like those are all like
Yeah.
cute books that aren't really like there are some spice, but that's not like the main thing. It's not like
Yeah.
erotica where like erotica you read for the
Shot.
spice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes like you're just in that mood with that like it doesn't matter what is in it, like you just want the spice. Like,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I've been in moods like that where like I just need the fix really quick. Like I don't even care if you guys hate each other, if you guys can absolutely stand each other. Like even if you have no emotional connection, give me the spice and I'm good to go. But then like some books where I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
like your
The books
love
that
like
they
comes off the pages.
the ones that like really latch onto me are the ones where like they need the trifecta. That's what I'm labeling it right now because it's coming to me. It's gonna be the trifecta for me. It's one that they have like an emotional connection.
Hmm.
They have the spice, and three, they have like that open desire for each other and those like words of affirmation for each other. And that's kind of like going into like them uplifting each other and
Yeah.
constantly reassuring each other, that open communication. I need to have those
Yeah.
things in order
Hmm.
for me to like really enjoy the romance and like fall into it. That's
Hmm.
part of the reason why like from Blood and Ash is like it for me, because like it has
You
like
get all of that.
I get all of that, because like people are just like, oh yeah, it's like a spicy book or whatever, and it is, and it has like all of these magical elements because it's a fantasy book, but like
Yeah.
Castile like is always like talking to Poppy and like having these moments
Yeah.
with her and reassuring her and making
Hmm.
her feel secure, and I'm like, damn, I want that. I want that.
Yeah.
So I need that.
It comes
So
down to the relationship itself more
yeah.
than that's why
Yeah.
like I think that's what Blood and Ash does really well is it does bring this relationship and the smut together where it's tactful in that the sense it's not just all smut and it's not every single scene that they're together like it's not a spoiler but like in this book in this newest book she kind of just talks like of course like they're having sex and stuff but she doesn't it not every sex scene is played out in the book that they have and she just like
Yeah.
mentions it and you're just like well yeah of course we're not going to read all of their interactions or
Yeah.
just their smut
Yeah.
but you see more of their like connection and stuff flowing and especially in
Hmm.
A Kingdom of Flesh and Fire you see it a lot where like they connect and then they have the deed but like you see more of their like connection blooming and like you even see it in From Blood and Ash where
Yeah.
they didn't have sex until the very end. And it's
Hmm.
like that was very I was hooked. Hook, line, and sinker first
The
two
build up
chapters.
the build up is honestly what does it for me. Like, if I
Yeah.
get like good build up, good tension, good like angst in between them, but like that
Hmm.
tenderness as well, when it finally gets there, the build up is what gets me.
Yeah.
The build up is definitely it. So I'm definitely shifting
Yeah,
into
because
the
like you
romance.
don't want to jump into a book where it's literally just like you know how like there are love stories that I feel like are written to be told but not like written to be felt kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's like when you jump into like books like that, I feel like it just takes out all of the fun.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like I think tension is like I mean whether or not they end up having sex or not in the book, like tension is like one of the biggest things to really feel the relationship between the two characters because
Mhm.
like without it, you're literally just like, it feels like it comes out of left field for you. Like
Yeah,
you're
like
reading
it
and then
was
all of a
easy.
sudden they're together and you're
Okay.
like, where did that come from? Like, how
Yeah.
did you guys end up together? Like, did you like, where is struggle if there is one? You know, like where
I
is, you know what I mean? Like I felt I felt that in like, I think I felt that in the Bear to You series with Crossfire. Like I was absolutely like, in the many times that I was reading that, I was like, where is this coming from? Like you just like took this and you were like, yep, this is now what's happening. And I'm like, but where did
yeah,
we start with this?
yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think books like that, like, I mean, that book was, it's still addictive. Like I still finished it. It was still great. Like there's a lot of smutty scenes in it, but a lot of the time I was like, why? Where
Yeah.
did we come from here?
And I feel like that's why like certain people bash romance because they're just like, oh, it's just for that. But then
Oh my
the people
gosh.
who
Don't
are
even.
actually, yeah, the people who are actually in it are like, it's so
Yeah.
much more than
Like,
that. You don't even
yeah.
know.
At
You don't
least
even.
in
Yeah.
some smutty books, there is that connection. Like, I had this girl in my acting class, like, we were, like, doing stuff, and she's like, "Oh, you read smut?" And I was like, "Yeah." Like, "Yeah? What about
You're
it?"
like,
Like,
yeah, and what?
and she was like,
And what?
"Oh." And
And
I was like, "Yeah."
you need a rec? You need a
I
rec?
was like,
You want one?
"I like to read my
You want me to
porn,
give you a
not
title?
watch it."
Yeah,
Yeah,
literally.
how do you guys feel about that? Like when people like, I don't know, like I guess not just like being judgmental about it, but like how would you deal with people, or how would you feel about people like knowing that you read smutty books?
My
Like
parents,
family members or
I
friends, right? Like
my
they
friends
ask
all
you what you're
know.
reading.
My friends all make fun of me. I have
I
my
actually
friends
have
Yeah.
heard this.
my
My so I just moved um from LA and I moved near my cousin who I haven't really been close with. Um, but I'm getting closer to them. So my brother and I are like going over to their house often and going to,
Hmm.
carne asadas, which is like a Saturday evening for us. So we went over to the
Yeah.
house, we were talking, and they were kind of getting to know me more about like what I do and things like that, him and his wife. And I was
Yeah.
just like, read. And they're like, oh, so what do you read? And I was just like, well, and she's like, what, romance? And I was just like, actually, yeah. Yeah, that's it. And other
Yeah.
stuff too, but then this. And she's just like, so what is that like? And at first I felt kind of like embarrassed, like that thing of like, do I
Yeah. Yeah.
want them to know? But then part of me was kind of like, so what if they do? So then I found like the bravery in myself to be like, yeah, I do. And I read this and I read that, and it's good like this
Yeah.
and all of these things. And surprisingly, because I was accepting of it for myself, I realized as I
Yeah.
was
No,
talking
I know
that
what you mean.
it didn't matter if she questioned it or not. Like I'd be genuine
Yeah.
and give her answers. And I feel like you have to kind of reach that point in yourself when you're
Yeah.
talking
Where
about
like
it.
you don't care. Like
Yeah.
that, if you don't make a big deal out of it, nobody else can make a big deal out of it to affect you, kind of thing.
Yeah. And it's kind of
Yeah.
like she said something like, why would you read that stuff? And I'd be like, well, because I like it. Like, what can
Yeah. You're
they
like, why wouldn't
say?
I?
Yeah.
What
To
can they
make
say to
you
that?
stop.
Yeah.
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 Nothing.
See, I was kind of the opposite where I was just like I read a lot of YA and then I started getting into my smutty romance and then I kind of was just full out. I was like, yeah, I'm reading smut. My roommate and her boyfriend know. They're like he was once they were like down like I like our bed. My bed is like lofted and they were like down on the couch and I was like reading and Reese her boyfriend Reese goes, "Oh, is Maggie reading one of her smutty romances?" And I looked at him and I went, "Yes, Reese, I am." And then I
I
continued
am.
reading and he's like, okay. Versus like I have a
Yeah.
friend, Ada, and he knows I read smut. And I was like, I've been really open and honest because I'm like, it's who I am. Like, I'm not gonna try to hide it. Like my parents, yes.
Oh
Like, but
yeah.
my friends and
Not
like
gonna
my
tell them.
cousin that I'm close with, I'm not gonna really try to hide it. Like, yeah, I read smut.
Yeah.
I don't have a boyfriend. Like, how else am I like gonna get the action? Is what I tell people. I'm like, can you explain to me how else am I gonna get this? And
Yeah.
it's just funny because I'm just like like it's just like I enjoy reading, so I might as well just like enjoy that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I think too, like, it's like when you take the power like out of it, like nobody can make you feel any kind of way besides like how you want to feel about it, like, but if you're personally like making a huge deal of people like finding out about it, then anything they say is going to affect you and it's going to like make you feel shitty, like, oh, like, like it's kind of embarrassing that I read this, but it's like if you don't care that you read it, then nothing anybody say will matter.
Literally,
You know what I
because
mean?
like
Like,
it even goes to like not even just what you're reading, but also like what you talk about.
yeah.
Like if you're comfortable talking
Hmm.
about it, if you're not comfortable talking about it, then you basically don't have any right doing it. Like if you're not comfortable in taking
Like a
ownership of
stigma
yourself,
kind of thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
you know, and I feel like that I didn't realize that that's what I was doing early on in my active life, until
Hmm.
like, you know, I was talking with a bunch of friends, and then, you know, questions pop up or things like that, and I jump on the opportunity to like be open with them and talk with them and kind of tell stories and swap, you know, things that you guys talk about as friends. And
Hmm.
a lot of them would be kind of surprised and kind of timid about talking about certain topics, but
Yeah.
then once they saw that I was comfortable with it, they kind of opened up for themselves, because it's also,
They get the confidence from
yeah,
you.
you know, and it's kind of that thing of
Yeah.
like, be confident in how you talk about it. Don't be like overly like throwing it in everyone's faces, but
Yeah.
state it. If they're open to discuss it, then you discuss. If
Hmm.
not, then back away. And that goes with
Yeah.
anything. Not with
There's no
just,
harm to
yeah.
them. Yeah.
It's always like that. It's with smart, with politics, with whatever it
Yeah.
is. If people are
I
open to
agree.
have a discussion, you talk. If
Great.
not, you know where I stand. I
Then at
know where
least
you
like,
stand.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I feel like to like when people like when my friends or family will ask me like, oh, what are you reading? Right. Like I remember like I went out for drinks with a friend like a couple months ago and I had Misconduct by Penelope Douglas in my bag, right? Because like I bring my book everywhere. And obviously there's tabs in that book, right? And most of the tabs are the smutty scenes.
Yeah.
And so I remember I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go to the restroom. And I was like rummaging through my bag, and then my friend goes, she goes, Pauline, like, what's in there, right? And so she's seen the book and she wants to like see it, and I'm like, I'm not ready for them to know what I'm reading, like, especially because like she'll flip to a tab, she'll see the scene
Yeah.
that I tabbed, and then I just call myself out like that. So I was like, no, 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 it's fine. Like, it's just like a fantasy, like, you know, book, right? And like when people ask me too, like my family will ask me, like, oh, what are you reading? I'm like, oh, just like fantasy, like, and I go like the immediate out of like, oh, you know, like vampires and like werewolves, like, because like in their head they automatically think Twilight,
But
you know, like I'll be reading like From Blood and Ash around them, but they'll think Twilight, like even though it's like not the same book, but like I feel like that puts them at ease, you know what I mean?
yeah.
Because like they know what Twilight is and stuff, and it like it's like taking the entire like responsibility of me like having to discuss what the book is about, because then they won't understand it
Yeah.
anyway, and it's just like I'll just be
And they
wasting my breath, so I'll just tell you
no.
something that you might understand immediately
Right.
and leave it at that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like
Because
I
most
feel
of the
like
time they
I'm
don't
not,
really want to know.
yeah, they're kind of just like, oh, like what are you reading?
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
they're not asking to know, they're just asking to make
So,
conversation.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm like, oh, you know, like something like Twilight, and they're like, oh, okay, and then
Yeah.
that's it.
I felt
You know
that.
what I mean?
Totally get that.
Yeah, that's why
Okay.
I'm not like open to like telling
Yeah.
people like what I'm reading, just because it's just like when you really want to know, like I have a cousin who actually asks me for like romance recs, and like we both like smutty books, right? But that's like a me and her kind of thing. Like
Yeah.
nobody knows that she likes those books too. But so like when she's asking me what I'm reading, I know that she actually wants to know what I'm reading, because like that's probably a book that she'll end up wanting to read.
Yeah.
You know what I
And
mean?
that's the
Versus
whole,
like her just being like, oh,
yeah.
that's cool, like interesting.
That's part of the whole conversation thing. You know when certain
Yeah,
people really want to know and when some people don't.
yeah,
But yeah.
yeah.
So
That's true.
we've been going for quite a while now.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like we've been on for that long.
Yeah.
I know my alarm went
It's
off
a
and I don't know if you
fast.
saw, but I was like, oh, I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
It's been
um,
a great conversation though.
I know, right? And this
Yeah.
is our first conversation face to face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, face to camera to face.
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Camera to camera.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's funny because Grace and I have never met in person. So, like, we've only talked online through a device.
Oh,
Yeah,
So,
I know,
you guys
right?
FaceTime like usually?
Yeah, that's how this whole thing
Yeah.
started, through our FaceTimes. We were just like, you
Oh,
know what?
that's so
and our bookish
sweet.
box unboxings.
Yeah, bookish box.
Yeah, I see that you guys do that all the time.
We
It's
do.
I'm
fun.
We
so
do.
mad, dude. Like my May box isn't like I didn't get the May box for Realm Breaker. I'm so sad.
Oh, what happened?
Yeah, my thing got canceled. Like, because I had my card expired on file, and like I completely forgot. Like I was supposed to change it out before the renewal date, and I forgot. And so renewal date comes, they sent me an email, and like my dumbass just completely like disregarded it. I was like, oh, I'll change it in a few days, not a big deal. Until they sent me an email saying that it got canceled, and I was like, oh shit, like it was that serious. Like I probably should have changed it right away. And I emailed them, and they said they're all out of May boxes, but my June subscription is like up and running, and I'm like, I don't care about June.
Gosh, did
I
mine
want
get
May.
canceled too? Because I got a cancel that I got that my whole subscription was canceled. Like,
Yeah, that's the email I got.
but I didn't change. Oh my gosh, wait.
No, I would check because they said I'm not getting the May box, but I'm like set for June, and I'm sad because I really
I
wanted
think I
Realm
paid
Breaker
in
from
April
them.
though. I think I
Yeah,
paid.
the April, it's like April 20th renewing.
Yeah, I think I paid. So I
Yeah,
think
my next renewal is May 20, so I know that I didn't get, but it's fine because Fairy Loot is coming out with Realm Breaker too, so I'll just get that one.
I have both of them coming in, so
yeah, I do too.
Yeah,
I gotta stop getting multiple
Today.
copies. Like, but you know what? It's
yeah,
fine.
and I'm still getting Realm Breaker when it comes out on Tuesday, and now I'm like, Realm Breaker with Fairy Loot is gonna be like 25-ish, $35 probably with shipping. And like, imagine if I don't even like the book. Like,
I know. That's my thing. That's what I'm always
Sell it.
scared about.
yeah.
But
Actually, that's a good idea because
Yeah.
it's gonna be a Fairy Loot edition too.
Well, we want to say thank you for coming on. This was a great talk. We
Thank
always
you for having me.
when our guests are on, we always have great conversations. Every single guest, we've always had a great conversation, which
Yeah.
I feel like this is why I have so much fun doing this. I don't know about Grace. I
have a blast.
I love doing this because I love talking to people, especially when will never, like some people we've talked to, I probably will never meet in person, but I like
Yeah.
talk to. Like Grace, I will most likely meet in person, but
Yeah.
some people, hopefully, we're gonna pray that I can meet. She's gonna get her vaccine. I'm already vaccinated.
Yeah.
But yes. So
Wait, where do you live, Maggie?
I live in but nowhere, Nebraska. I live in Omaha,
Oh,
Nebraska.
Okay.
Yeah. That's a tough part.
Yeah. Well, if you ever fly to California, let me know.
Yeah.
We can
I'm
all
going
meet
to
up
Vegas
together.
We'll all meet up.
I'm going to
We'll all
Vegas
meet
next
up.
February. My dad is taking me to Vegas. Me and my friend to Vegas.
Oh, exciting! That's like a 4-hour drive for me. Even closer to Grace.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll all
that'll be
meet up
exciting.
there.
Yeah, we can all meet up in Vegas.
Yeah,
Tish will come along too. We'll make sure.
I'm down. I'm down. Wait,
That'd
when
be
do you
fun.
turn 21, Maggie?
February 1st. So I like at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, so by the time we meet you, we can all get drinks together.
Yeah.
Sure.
That'll be fun.
Girl, you're already planning for us to meet. Yes, I'm ready. I'm ready.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you for coming on. Thank you for everybody who's been listening for this long. We want to thank everybody on Apple Podcasts who listen to us because majority of our like fans come from Apple Podcasts in our 18 to 25 range. So shout out to that. And Grace, do we have anything else to add before we end the episode?
So a couple of announcements is we will be doing our Crown of Gilded Bones episode is going to be at the month mark from its release. We are going to do a full spoiler episode of Shadow and Bone coming up soon. We will be posting about our May lineup and what books that we're going to do episodes on, so that way listeners, if you guys want to read along with us, so you guys can listen to those episodes. We will be doing an episode on Get a Life, Chloe Brown. And what's the other one that we're going to do?
The Crown of Gilded Bones.
That's the only two? I thought there was one more.
Those are the two for May, yes.
Oh, yeah.
And I had to push back stuff because of the Crown of Gilded Bones.
Right.
So.
See, I'm trying to keep on top of things, okay?
Chaos.
Yeah, right. If you guys know, I lost my Apple Pencil while I was moving and I still haven't found it. So once I do find it in one of my boxes, the enamel pens will be up and running as soon as it's found. It's somewhere and I will find it. Do not lose hope. But our shop is going to be up sometime in summer, hopefully with a couple of things. And that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, thank you guys for listening. We'll see you in the next one. Have a good evening. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.